Jurgen Klopp, new Real Madrid manager? Is the German seriously coming back for the Royal Club? Barcelona have made their final call on Robert Lewandowski. Bayern are blatantly stealing Manchester United's leader. PSG are loading hundreds of millions for Enzo Fernandez. Who the hell turned down Manchester City, and why is Pep Guardiola livid? All this and way more in today's episode. Slam that like button and let's dive into the maddest transfer rumors right now. If you thought the Jurgen Klopp saga ended when he joined Red Bull, think again. He is now the clear frontrunner to become the next Real Madrid manager. A trusted German source says the former Liverpool boss is genuinely captivated by the idea, properly fascinated. Everything ignited on Monday when Real cut ties with Xabi Alonso less than a day after that stinging loss to Barcelona. 8 months, 70% win rate. Still not enough for the Bernabeu. While Alvaro Arbeloa has stepped in as caretaker, the real hunt is on. Fabrizio Romano dropped the bomb immediately. Florentino Perez rates Klopp extremely highly. Yes. Jurgen is currently the global head of football for Red Bull. Comfortable, big-picture stuff, no daily madness. But Florian Plettenberg at Sky Germany keeps digging in his heels. Klopp is the absolute #1 candidate for next summer. Real Madrid is one of the very few things that could drag him back into the fire. If Madrid come with a proper, serious approach, Klopp will sit down and listen. He admits he misses the rhythm, the intensity, the edge, and he's always had huge respect for the history and relentless ambition of Los Blancos. The club are planning a big rebuild for summer 2026, a new cycle, and a free Jurgen Klopp is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. If Florentino decides it's time to turn the page, Klopp's name is right at the top of the list. Old Trafford's search for a midfield general has led them back to a very familiar face. We're talking about RUBEN NEVES again. According to Fichajes, the absolute priority for United is bringing in an experienced, creative presence who can actually control a game, and NEVES fits the bill perfectly. He's 28, right in his prime, and the fee being talked about is around £20 million. For United these days, that's pocket change. Crucially, the player himself is desperate to get out of Al Hilal. He's had enough of the Saudi League and wants back into proper competitive football. For Michael Carrick, this isn't just a luxury, it's borderline essential. Casemiro is openly running on fumes, and Manuel Ugarte still hasn't turned into the anchor everyone hoped for. NEVES walks in and fixes the balance straight away. Elite, long-range shooting, top-drawer game management. It's exactly what that midfield has been crying out for. Of course, the guy would bite your hand off for Real Madrid if they came calling. He still dreams of the Bernabeu. But Madrid are being very careful with their budget, and that hesitation is pure gold for United, while Real dither. The door is wide open. Al Hilal want a straight sale, and United's money is good. NEVES already knows the Premier League inside out from his Wolves days. Plug him in, and he delivers from day one. The squad is gasping for reliable options, and this just feels like the smartest move they could make this window. Panic stations at the Etihad, absolute zen at Anfield. That's the situation with MARC GUÉHI right now. While Liverpool are chilling, happy to play the long game, City are ready to slap an offer on the table this very January. Team Talk says it straight. He's the #1 target, and they're hunting him hard. Pep needs that center back yesterday. Right now, GUÉHI is the juiciest piece of meat on the market, no question. Snapping up a 25-year-old English defender in his prime? Yeah, good luck with that. Palace wouldn't say no to cashing in 35 million quid. Take it or leave it, which makes sense, as they need the funds to reinvest. The problem for the buyers? MARC himself isn't packing his bags just yet. He's quite happy to sit tight until summer and walk out the door for absolutely nothing. Why rush when the free transfer jackpot means a massive signing-on fee straight into his own pocket? You can see why City are desperate. Gvardiol's gone for the season, Ruben Dias is in the treatment room, the whole defense is creaking. They're willing to drown the kid in money, hand him a monster contract, outbid whatever bonus he'd get in the summer. Anything to get him on the pitch at the Etihad right now. It's an absurdly expensive winter move, totally unlike them, but they're backed into a corner. Liverpool? Cool as you like. Not spending a single penny in January, convinced they'll stroll in and pick him up for free later. Arsenal, Real Madrid, Barcelona are all circling too, but they're waiting for summer, so the entire weight falls on Pep. Convince the lad to swap Selhurst Park for the Etihad mid-season. GUÉHI's rock solid where he is though. Come summer, the world's his oyster. Honestly, City and their bags of cash might just get sent packing while he runs the contract down to leave like a king. Pretty grim for City. Absolutely perfect for MARC GUÉHI. Just when everyone had packed Robert Lewandowski's bags for him, Barcelona have hit the brakes. It felt like a done deal that he was gone next summer. But quietly, the club has cracked the door back open for one more year. At 37, he's still delivering proper goals and presence that you can't just replace overnight. Diario AS still says the most likely outcome is a cash out in Saudi or MLS, but Barcelona haven't fully closed the renewal chapter. Right now, both sides are parked on the same page. Finish the season strong. Louis wants to leave this period of his career on a high, but there are massive complications. He's one of the highest earners, and letting him walk wipes a huge chunk off the wage bill. Oxygen for Barça. Plus, Hansi Flick is leaning harder on Ferran Torres in big games. Paying superstar wages for a 37-year-old to sit on the bench doesn't add up. However, inside Flick's staff, they still rate his leadership and standards as gold for such a young squad. If Robert accepts a reduced role and a serious pay cut, they might just keep him. 2 months ago, this looked like goodbye. Now, it's a proper puzzle again. Kenan Yıldız has had half of Europe drooling for months now, especially in the Premier League. Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, United, all four of them are basically glued to their phones, waiting for the moment the Turkish kid finally becomes available. But in Turin, they're very politely telling everyone to get lost. Juventus have zero intention of letting their 20-year-old go anywhere. They're pushing hard for a new contract, and that's that. Cold shower straight to the face for the English clubs. The guy already has 16 goal contributions this season, and he's clearly not even close to his ceiling yet. Give him regular minutes, a proper coach who trusts him, and in 2 years you've got a ready-made world-class forward who can play anywhere across the front three. That exact spark, that cutting edge. It's the one thing all four of those Premier League sides are desperately missing right now. Yıldız would walk in and fix it overnight. Left wing, right wing, behind the striker, he'd light up every single role. Of course, he'll end up at a super club eventually. That's inevitable. Question is just when. Right now, he wants the biggest stage and he wants trophies. At 20, the Premier League looks like the shiniest toy in the shop. Money, spotlight, competition, those stadiums. Most kids his age would have already kicked the door down to get there. But Juventus know how to talk to their gems, especially when they've grown one themselves. So the English sides will keep sitting there, hoping he says no to the new deal, praying he hits the market this summer or next. They all need exactly this profile if they want to fight for titles again, not just make up the numbers. The Turkish lad is genuinely one of the brightest talents in Europe at his age. Get him to England, give him consistent minutes, and in 2 or 3 years we're talking about him as the next proper elite forward. Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, United, they all know how to polish rough diamonds. They've got the coaches, the structure, the track record. It just comes down to whether Juventus let their star go that early or make everyone wait a little longer. Right now in Turin, they're feeling pretty calm about it all. 100 million euros. That is the figure Bayern are reportedly ready to drop for Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, it's a lot for a 31-year-old, but Bayern look at him and see the exact piece they're missing. Let's be honest, Bruno's been dragging Manchester United around on his shoulders for years, probably the only genuinely successful signing since Sir Alex left. But the tank is getting close to empty. BBC already reported he's thinking about his future, and Fichajes claims Bayern are ready to trigger the move. And you get it, don't you? The guy has poured everything into United for zero reward at the top table. Bayern is that top table. Stability, ambition, a machine that actually works. United are bricking it. They know he's sick of the endless reboots. Try keeping an unmotivated captain who's carrying the whole team. It turns toxic fast. Word is Bruno won't kick the door down, but he'll listen very carefully. He's earned the right to play in a side where he doesn't have to do everybody else's job. If he goes, United lose the heart of the team. But if they get that kind of money for a player his age, you just don't say no. Looks like Zinchenko is heading back to Arsenal as early as January. Nottingham Forest are ready to trigger the break clause and send him home ahead of schedule. BBC are reporting it straight up. 10 appearances in half a season, 0 goals, 0 assists. Hardly set the world on fire, did he? We all knew he wasn't coming in to bang in 20 goals. But even by his own standards, Forest just aren't seeing enough. Paying a guy 150 grand a week when he's barely moving the needle? For a club scratching around in a relegation fight, that's proper painful money. Doesn't add up. And let's be honest, Arsenal aren't exactly holding the door open for him either. If they wanted him, they wouldn't have shipped him out in the first place. If he does walk back into London Colney, he'll be straight on the market. Contract's up next summer anyway, and Arteta's lot would happily rip up that wage bill right now. They'd let him go for nothing just to stop the meter running till June. That salary is the whole problem, isn't it? Any club that likes the look of him takes one glance at the paycheck and quietly backs away. He's not the player he was. Not for that price. Most likely landing spot right now is Serie A. They still rate a versatile left-sided defender who can step into midfield. Pace is kinder over there too. Suits him perfectly at this stage. He'll have to take a serious pay cut, obviously, and deep down, he knows it. Come summer, he's a free agent and nobody's offering anything close to what he's on now. Reality check incoming. A solid mid-table Italian side looks about the right spot for a proper reset. Feels comfortable, feels realistic. Lost. That's the vibe coming from Enzo Fernandez right now. Since Enzo Maresca walked away, the midfielder is genuinely weighing everything up. Unsure of where Chelsea is heading without the manager who brought him in. Word from Equipe is that PSG have already pounced, making him their #1 target to build a midfield alongside Vitinha. They've got doubts about their current crop. João Neves and Fabian Ruiz were massive last season, but this year, questions everywhere. Enzo hears that interest and, yeah, he started to picture himself in Paris. It's a long-term project for PSG, not a January panic buy. Inside the Parc des Princes, the feeling is that the squad has gone soft. No competition, no fire. One source told Equipe, "We made a mistake not bringing in real challengers. Right now, half the team looks like they're on holiday. The pressing is gone. They're coasting." The stumbling block is that Chelsea tied Enzo down until 2031. Getting him out would take a monster 9-figure bid. Speaking of long-term commitments, you lot are doing exactly the same thing to me. Keeping me on a never-ending contract in the recommendations, but you still won't make it official and hit subscribe. What is it, Todd Boehly living rent-free in your heads? Fine, I've accepted that one day you'll sell me to the PSG channels if you don't lock it in. Do it now before I disappear to French football and start saying merci beaucoup with the worst accent you've ever heard. Subscribe while I'm still yours.